everyone, and welcome back to an all-new edition of The Odds Honest Truth. I am Craig Orbanoff, alongside Rich Wilhelm, every single week, bringing you the latest and greatest across all things sports betting. Thank you so much to our friends and family over at the In the Money Media Network. Make sure you are liking and subscribing to wherever you're listening to this show, whether that's YouTube, whether that's iTunes, whether that's Spotify. Thank you for doing so. Leave us a nice review. It helps the show out immensely. And please drop some comments in the player below. We want to know who you're playing this week. What are your picks? What are your bets? You've been making money off of us all season long, so we want to make some money off of you too. It should work both ways. Of course, you can check us out on Twitter down below here at Seagorbs94, at Coda522, and of course, the show at Odds Honest Truth, which is a real great destination to get some picks and plays. However, there's also a new destination that every sports bettor should be getting involved with and heading over to, and that is Chalkboard. You can check it out on Rich's hat. Imagine that I'm wearing mine as well. Chalkboard is a brand new app that we talked about last week. It's really, really exciting. We're so excited to be working with them. It's an incredible way to track your bets and interact with like bettors around the globe, around the country, whatever you want to call it. We have an Odds Honest Truth community board on Chalkboard. We'll be talking through how you can join later. Make sure you stay tuned to our Twitter channels. There'll be some information on how to join in there as well, so you can get the up-to-the-minute plays from everyone here at Odds Honest Truth and In the Money Media, and seamlessly get those picks and plays out there. Rich, did I miss anything about our friends over at Chalkboard?
No, I mean, just as we're recording this, our board is kind of blowing up right now. So we're actually going to have Ted Mose on the show next week, who is the CEO of Chalkboard. He's having fun today in Finland. That's why he's not with us today. But I mean, I'm going to say it. His name is very close to Ted Mosby. So I hope that he makes up for Ted Mosby. We need a Ted Mose to save the day. So Chalkboard, awesome app. You know, we like Craig said, we have a board on there. It's a public board. If you go into the chat section, you go to join a board, and then you go right down to Odds Honest Truth. You know, we have NCAA, we have NFL, we have NHL, we have NBA. We're even sprinkling a little NCAA basketball in there. And it's just a fun way for everyone to talk about it. You know, it's like talking to your friends through text, which, I mean, obviously we do all the time, but, you know, it's people that you might not know, you know, people from the Twitterverse that come on there and they drop their bets, which happened today, bet that I played. I mean, it's the fun community. Also, their game cast is insane.
It's way ahead of any other service
yeah.
out there. I mean, you know what happened in a game long before you see it on TV. I don't know how they did it, but it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, for example, we're not going to, you know, drop the other name because I don't want to get sued, but another game cast literally said past incomplete to undefined. And I sent it to Ted and I sent it to Andrew, who's media marketer. I was like, this is why your game cast is a little better because we know who's getting the ball. Also, you know, when your bet hits, seeing that light go green to show that you hit your bet, I mean, there's really no better feeling. So, and they also, as you're going to see in the show, they track your week to week. And it shows how much you won throughout the weeks, which makes me happy going on there because it shows that the bets I'm putting on the show are hitting. Same goes for John and everyone else who does bets through this show. So it's going to be a fun pairing, and we're going to do a lot of work with them, you know, on Odds Honest Truth and through In the Money Media. So it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rich, without further ado, let's dive right in and let's kick things off talking a little Thursday night football as you and I usually do. A pretty one-sided matchup on paper. We got the Baltimore Ravens against the Miami Dolphins. The spread as of right now on BetMGM is -7.5. That's the one I had open. I'm not sure what the spread is across every single sports book. Your sports book of choice might have a better odd, might have a worse, or might have a better spread, might have a worse spread. On paper, to me, the Baltimore Ravens are the clear-cut superior team. Lamar Jackson is having a great year. The offense is very effective, and the Dolphins are a team much like our New York Jets, or much like the Dolphins that you expect to see every year. They're not having a great season. what to you really stands out in this matchup?
Well, I mean, the big thing is kind of what you said. It's going to be a one-sided matchup, which let's go to the main thing. First of all, whenever a kicker has an over-under of 2.5, and I think it's going to be a blowout, I might put the most money, the week on that. Justin Tucker, we know that he's going to hit his extra points. He never misses his extra points. So right off the bat, I like Justin Tucker here, over under 2.5 extra points. $25 gives you 41.67. But again, that's not going to be what I bet. I just want to give you guys the rundown if every bet was $25. Again, with a blowout, your number one wide receiver is going to get the ball. So Hollywood Brown for me, his over under is 4.5 receptions. He had 9 last week. So give me that all day. $25 wins you $57.50. And let's make it a little fun now. Since I think it's going to be a blowout, you can actually bet per drive what you think the outcome is going to be. So Miami's first drive, I'm saying they're punting. It's either going to be a punt or a turnover, and I think if Brissett's in there, it's probably going to be 2 runs, an incomplete pass, and a punt. So $25 wins you $46.74. But there are some bright spots on the Dolphins roster right now. You got Waddle, who is holding his own. He knows that he's going to get double covered. He's the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver on that team. He hit his over last week, and the over this week is 60.5, which I think that they're going to be playing from behind. So that's going to be something that's going to be easily hit. $25 wins you $45.83. I also really like the Mike Gesicki over-under if Jacoby Brissett plays, which I think that's going to be the way they do it. I didn't want to put it down right now because it's kind of up in the air. If Brissett plays, bet his over. If Tua plays, it's kind of up in the air because he's all over the place. And the last bet from this game, Myles Gaskin, his longest reception, I think is going to be over 11.5. My homage is bad quarterbacks throw to tight ends and running backs. And I'm not saying Jacoby Brissett is bad. I'm just saying, he's kind of a serviceable subpar quarterback. So Myles Gaskin's probably going to get a lot of garbage yards, and he can break one. And I know he did last week. So over 11.5 for the reception yards, $25 wins you $47.72. I think those are easy bets.
Yeah, I really like those picks a lot. Another thing that I really like in this matchup, Rich, is the under. The over-under is at 47 points. I don't imagine the Dolphins getting more than a touchdown. I think the Ravens probably get like 28 points and take their foot off the gas a little bit. So I'll take the under here. I don't think we're going to get up to 47. I think the Ravens score 4 touchdowns and coast to the finish personally. But who knows? That's something we'll have to find out on Thursday night. And again, for everyone listening at home, watching at home, we record this show Wednesday nights. So everything is a little bit subject to change as we head into game days on Thursdays. We have a new friend of the show joining us. If you're a fan of the In the Money Media, you know him from Redboard Rewind. You know him from the In the Money Players podcast. It is Spencer Luginbuhl. Spencer also took a look at the Baltimore Ravens and Miami Dolphins. Spencer, take it away.
What's going on, everybody? This is Spencer Luginbuhl with In the Money Media's Odds, Honest Truth, doing a little segment that they asked me to do for tomorrow's game. They told me I could pick any game. I'm picking Thursday Night Football, Baltimore Ravens, minus 7.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Give me the favorite with the hook. Listen, right now Lamar Jackson is someone who I think is on the outside in looking in for the MVP trophy, but when you look at the odds overall, look at what Josh Allen did last week against Jacksonville. Lamar is starting to really creep in there. Trending right now, Baltimore is 9-0 in the last 9 ATS against Miami. They're second in total yards in the NFL. They're number 1 in rushing yards, and they're top 10 in scoring. Their last 4 games, they faced pretty much what are possibly going to be at least 3 of the 4 playoff teams. They went 3-1. The blowout against Cincinnati was against a division rival, something that just ended up happening in the NFL. When you look at Miami, 2 was out. They gave up 5 or 4 turnovers against the Houston Texans. They tried to lose the game. My Houston Texans still not good enough to even sniff out a win there. They're bottom 5 in passing and total yards. They also are just a team that doesn't come out all that well in the second half. They're one of the worst teams in the third quarter scoring-wise, and they have losses to Atlanta, and they also lost overseas to Jacksonville. This is just a game where I think Baltimore will go in, and they'll just end up completely smoking this team out. I love 7.5. I would almost even think I wouldn't tease down, but you could do that as well.
Thank you so much, Spencer, for joining us this week and for sharing your opinion on Thursday night football. This seems to be a pretty obvious matchup. So, I think the fact that we're all agreeing means that the Dolphins are going to have a huge blowout. Without further ado, let's send things over to Stucast Sports. Alan Studer taking a look at all things NCAA football. Alan, this one's going to you. How do we get paid?
Hey, thanks, Craig. Welcome back in. College Football Corner with the Stucast coming at you after our game of the year hits, and it wasn't even difficult. It wasn't even a thing. We were coasting going into the fourth quarter. Wake Forest UNC goes over for the second straight year, 100 points. God, I love Wake Forest. I love North Carolina. Two horrific defenses, and you got to applaud that. Folks, this week, 3 plays for you. Was giving out some plays on the Odds Honest Truth Chalkboard page. So check out that. We had some winners on there as well. A good week all around. I think 4-1 in total. So something to build off of. We're going to roll it into this week. Again, dropping plays on the Odds Honest Truth Chalkboard page. Shout out to those guys. It's a wonderful app. Get on it if you haven't yet. So we're going back to my favorite conference, which I would have never thought I would have said before. But this year, when you take a look back at what you do right, the ACC is what I do right this year. So we're going to head right back to it. Notre Dame -5.5 against the Cavaliers from Charlottesville. Look, I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I think they're horrible. But 5.5 in this situation is a gift, and I'm going to lay it all day. And I'll tell you why. Brennan Armstrong, really banged up. I mean, this guy has rushed the ball 132 times this year, okay? He's thrown the ball and got hit a ton more. If you watch that BYU shootout that they had in Provo at midnight a few weeks ago, you saw that Brennan Armstrong's banged up, and it is what it is. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. Virginia is bowl eligible, 6-win team. They're going to a bowl game. Virginia has a shot at the Coastal Championship. They still have it in their grasp. Got to beat Pittsburgh, got to beat Vatek. That's it. That's all you got to do. And they're in the ACC Championship. And those are 2 games that are very winnable for this Virginia team. I don't know that they want to throw out. And what is realistically a meaningless game, folks? This is very much a meaningless game in terms of everything. It can only serve to hurt their quarterback. I think they hold back Brennan Armstrong. I think Notre Dame cruises. Give me the Fighting Irish -5.5. Let's go to another Wake Forest game, a game I'll be at, okay? I'm going to be wearing my black and gold, supporting my Demon Deacons, helping me out, game of the year. And they've given us a few winners on this program. I'm going to go back to the well. 2.5-point line against NC State. I'm not going to touch it. And we saw what happened. Wake Forest, probably a better team than North Carolina. They blow a 10-point lead late, lose outright to UNC. Here at home, if you wanted to play a side, I'd probably lean Wake Forest. However, what I'm going to go with here is the over, 66.5. And NC State, you'll see NC State's a team that really defensively has held their opponents to about 30, 35 points or less, and they've been able to score at least 30 points. So their average score, if you look at everything all told, without the outliers of like a La Tech or whatever, just, Power 5 teams, it's about 30 to, 21, well below what you're going to see. However, the only comp I could find is their game against Miami, a game where both teams scored combined 62. 66.5 the total here. I just trust this Wake Forest offense. I mean, it will eat you up. And plus, on top of that, NC State, 5 starters out on defense. And that adds up to a game where I could see at least one team hitting 40, and that's all we need, folks, because the other is going to be not far behind. Give me the over. Demon Deacons, come on, just bring some more love to the show. And finally, I had a few games I was playing with. I'm going to go to the SEC, though. Kentucky, off a real tough loss to Tennessee. They need a win. They look like they have some things figured out, especially Will Levi. Threw for 370 last week. Chris Rodriguez got things going on the ground with 100 yards. They get Vandy, and Vandy is bad. It's bad in Nashville. The Commodores, this isn't 1904. The Commodores are hurting. So I'm gonna lean with the Wildcats. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction and what is a kind of pseudo rivalry. I think Kentucky walks in here and they got a point to prove, and they're just going to put it on them. I think they get right here. Give me Kentucky. Coming up on the weekend, we've got some things lined up for you. I got a double dip, a side and a total, same game, and a dog from a non-Power 5 conference to take a look at. Stay tuned this weekend. Craig, Rich, thank you, fellas. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Alan. Without further ado, we're going to now throw it on over to the man, the myth, the legend, John Hazelet. I stumbled over the word there. I'm going to power through anyway, Rich. It's fine. John has come on this show in the recent weeks and given out nothing but winners. This is a man who's serious about making you money. So whatever John says, I'm going to bet it this week. John, tell me how I'm getting paid.
Hey guys, John Hazelet here with his picks of the week. 3-0 last week. Hope you've made some money. This week I'm going to give us 4 plays. The first one's going to be Cowboys Falcons over 54.5. The Cowboys were a little bit embarrassed last week. I think they're going to come out swinging, and I think the Falcons can kind of stay with them. I could see this being a 35-28 type game. So give me the over 54.5. The next one's going to be Chargers at home -3 against the Vikings. I love the Chargers in this game. You know why? The Vikings just can't put anybody away. They may play the game close, win or lose. It's always going to be within a touchdown. And in this case, I think the Chargers could separate themselves a little bit. And I think 3 is a pretty good number. I'll take the Chargers and lay the money. The Broncos-Eagles -2.5. I'll take the Broncos on this one all day of the week. Javonte Williams looks like an absolute stud, and I think the more the season goes on, he's going to carry the ball more and more. I love the fact that Judy's back. I'd love to see Noah Fant come back this week. I think the Broncos offense, minus their quarterback, is in really good shape. But I think Teddy's going to put up some points this week, and they'll beat the Eagles. And the last one, I always give you one of the ifs. If this guy plays, if this is to happen. So my big if this week is going to be Aaron Rodgers. I'll take the Packers -3 all day long if he's playing. The fact that Jordan Love fell on his face last week, I think Aaron's going to want to come out and really play hard and put up some points. And I don't care that Russell Wilson's playing for the Seahawks. I actually think the Packers are going to be Super Bowl bound out of the NFC. So I think this is the start of a really big run for Aaron, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put up some serious points. So those are my 4 for the week, guys. That should be good enough to get us some money. See you next week.
Thank you so much, John. 6-0 over the last 2 weeks, looking to make it a perfect 9-0. This guy's a beast. Like, if you want to get paid, you follow what John Hazelet says. And additionally, too, and maybe we'll have to start getting these picks too. John is a beast for daily fantasy as well. Has won contests and just cash tickets left and right every single weekend. So let us know in the comments below if you want to start integrating some of that into the Odds Honest Truth. Rich, before we head on over to the NFL, I know you have a couple of NBA plays that you've been sporting over the last couple of weeks. Tell me, in the world of the NBA, how do you like to make a little extra ka-ching?
I mean, the simple answer is Cole Anthony. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. I bet the same bet since last show until this show. Same exact bet. over 1.5 threes every single night. And Cole Anthony does something really fun where he only hits one in the first half every single game. And then you get to bet him again at halftime and get even more money. So what I like to do is, let's say I'll put like $50 to start on his over 1.5, and then Caesars opens up the betting again at halftime. So the betting at halftime would be 0.5 or 1.5 because he already hit one, and then you get to bet the same bet again because you know that he's going to shoot like 6 in the second half. So last game again, he had 1-3 in the first half. Then he ended up with 5. So right now, Cole Anthony is sitting at 2.5 over under. Still something I'm really comfortable in betting. It's to the point where Cole Anthony has become a name in my house, and my wife is like, "Is it Cole Anthony Day?" And I'm like, "It sure is." Might have to get his jersey, even though I'm a Knicks fan. I got to support the guy who has won me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Another bet that I really like with your hat on right now. It seems like the Knicks are still shooting threes. It's just only 2 of them are making them. So Kemba Walker kind of, dropped off a little bit. But RJ Barrett and Randall are still doing what they need to do. So if you can parlay the both of them, Barrett is 1.5 and Randall is 2.5. I think that's an easy cash most nights with these Knicks because they just drain threes, every day of the week. Another guy I want to throw out there for you that has been hitting consistently, actually undefeated this year at 1.5, is Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, if he's at 1.5, you bet it. I think he's 9 or 10-0 right now when he's at that spread. So those are my little NBA tidbits. I think we're going to have a special guest on next week to give you straight up NBA bets, but NBA has been very good to me this year, and it's just simply betting threes. I don't try to get cute with it. I don't want to bet blocks or steals. I do bet, rebounds sometimes. Shout out to Mitchell Robinson. But, just keep it simple. Threes are bang, bang plays. You can get it in the first 5 minutes of the game, and then you could just sit easy and then bet it again at halftime. So that's my little tidbit for NBA.
Definitely a lot of fun. And a player that I want to throw out there is someone to keep an eye on his return game. He's going to be suspended for a game, and that's Nikola Jokic. I think I said that name okay, but probably not. Obviously, this guy's a superstar. You don't need me to tell you that he's a great player. But I think how everything came together in that game against the Miami Heat, he's going to be suspended. I think that comeback game, he's going to have a just complete monstrous performance. I don't have the Nuggets schedule up in front of me, but I know it's not tonight. I know he's not playing tomorrow. So keep an eye out for whenever the next time the Denver Nuggets play. Take a look at what Jokic's over-unders are, and I would take the over on everything because I think he's just going to be a complete beast. Rich,
he certainly knows how to push people on the court. I saw that and I was like, is it going to be one game? And then my buddy Mark, he's like, that's only going to be one game in the NFL. I was like, that would be multiple in other sports. So good for him. He got his aggression out, only one game. Put him on fire. Let's go this weekend. Weekend betting for him for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's an incredible player regardless, and I think he's just going to come back even angrier. So I think he's going to be a real bully, get a lot of boards. He's an elite passer for a big man. One of the more fun players to watch in the NBA. Let's head on over to the NFL now, Rich. Full-time to the NFL. John Hazelet gave us a little preview, and so did Spencer. And we talked a little Thursday Night Football. But let's talk some spreads. Why don't you kick us off? What game are you taking a look at this weekend?
Well, I got 4 big ones for you. I feel like John introing like that, but I have 4 big ones for you. And a lot of these, I think the spreads are weird just simply because of what happened last week. The weirdest one to me is Cleveland is getting 1.5 points against the Patriots. To me, I think Cleveland is figuring it out. It's addition by subtraction. The only reason why I think they're getting 1.5 against the Patriots is because of the COVID scare with Nick Chubb and Felton and everyone else not named Dearness Johnson. Problem is, we saw what Dearness Johnson could do, and he can carry the rock. So I think he's going to have a repeat of that Denver Bronco game. I think the Patriots, they're going to meet their match. I think Mac Jones he throws it 5 yards. You know that you can defend that. And the Odell Beckham thing, I really think it was addition by subtraction there. The team kind of gelled better. Donovan Peoples-Jones is having a good year. Landry is getting in there. I mean, Baker Mayfield played a lot better without Odell in there. So 1.5 against the Patriots, $25 wins you $47.73. Next game I got is the Atlanta Falcons against the Cowboys. Atlanta, they won last week. And it was kind of unexpected, to say the least. They almost gave it up at the end there. But that's what Atlanta does. And that's exactly why I'm taking Atlanta +9 against the Cowboys. They always keep every game close. As you heard from John, he says the same thing. It's a game that's going to be close just because that's what they do. They probably will lead most of the game and then just give up the lead at the end. And the Cowboys will probably end up winning by, a touchdown or a field goal. Cowboys looked very off last week against the Broncos. And I think Matt Ryan can take advantage of that this week. So +9, $25 wins you $47.73. And then I got two teams that are favored in the same division. Chargers -2.5. Last week it was my bet of the week. I can't believe that they kept it that close with the Eagles, but they did cover the spread. It was 1.5 last week to beat the Eagles by 3. Chargers is 2.5 this week against the Vikings. $25 is going to win you $45. I just think, again, I'm agreeing with John what he said. I mean, the Vikings just can't keep a lead. They can't put teams away. And the Chargers know how to attack. I mean, Herbert had a whale of a game last week against the Eagles. I think Eckler is going to have to get it together this week to make it, an easy bet, which I think you will. The Vikings Kirk Cousins is not the quarterback for that team. He's not, good at targeting his targets. There's a lot of stuff going on with Dalvin Cook right now, which we don't know what's going on with him. It's just kind of a team in limbo right now. So I'm going to take the team on the rise, which is the Chargers, -2.5. And last but not least, I'm taking my Chiefs. I know they've looked like absolute hot garbage this year, but I'm still riding coattails here. So the Chiefs are -2.5 against the Raiders. The Raiders lost to the Giants last week. That's kind of where I'm going to start. And they ruined my perfect 3-0 chalkboard bets here. I went 2-1 because of the Raiders. And I think that the Chiefs are just going to have their way with the Raiders. 2.5, I think it's just because the Chiefs are playing like garbage, but this is going to be the game they get it together against a divisional foe. And I could see the Chiefs winning this game by 10 or more. So $25 went to $46.74.
I like those picks. I like those plays. Make sure you join our chalkboard community. We'll be dropping links in the Twitter on how to do that, and you can. I'll put it up on the screen in post-production. So a note to future Craig, but all of you watching and listening, you'll just see it. Watch it happen live. How you can join our chalkboard community. I'm probably using the wrong terminology, but whatever. It's fine. You're wearing the hat. We're showing chalkboard. I like it. It's still a relatively new product. Maybe they can change the name to that. It's fine. There's a couple of games I'm taking a look at, Rich, as well this week. I am intrigued by the Seattle Seahawks and Green Bay Packers game. I think the headache and distraction going on in the Green Bay locker room with all things COVID related could potentially be enough for Seattle to cover this 3.5 point spread. I'm not saying that they're going to be out there winning the game. And I, still have a lot of agita with this Seahawk team, but we were wrong about them last week. I think they had a nice chicken noodle soup game against the Jags. And I don't know. I don't like the product that Green Bay's putting out on the field. So I'm gonna flirt with the Seattle Seahawks at 3.5. You're making a face. I crazy?
I think it comes down to the quarterbacks. If Aaron Rodgers can't play, I'm taking Seattle. If Aaron Rodgers can play, he's probably going to win the game. But I mean, I don't know what Russell Wilson's coming back into. That's the only thing. He had a dislocated finger. He's not supposed to be back yet. His recovery is supposed to be more weeks than it was. But I'm sure he's going to want to take his team to the promised land. But, you and John are kind of battling this week because John took the Packers. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's just I don't like all the question marks in Green Bay. I think even if Aaron Rodgers does play, I don't think he's quite looked as Aaron Rodgers like over the last couple of weeks this season. And I don't know. I just have a bad feeling for Green Bay. Call it a gut decision, but I'm gonna throw a couple of bucks on the Seahawks plus 3.5. Another spread that I'm taking a look at is the Cardinals minus 10. The Panthers just kind of look like a hot mess to me, and I don't recall last week's results. The viewers will have to excuse me. I talked about this last week. I am the broadcast producer for the New York City Marathon. I had a pretty crazy weekend last weekend, so I'm not fully up on what happened last week in the NFL. Had a little bit going on at New York City Marathon finish line, but the Cardinals were, prior to last week at least, doing great against the spread. Panthers not a very good team. I think the Cardinals are a very good team, and I think they'll cover 10 points.
Well, with Sam Darnold out, I don't know. I mean, Sam Darnold as your quarterback, I'm taking the 30-point spread because garbage, man. PJ Walker, he's going to start the game. Sam Darnold's out 6 weeks. Kyler Murray and Hopkins didn't play last week, and they still beat the 49ers. So I agree with you. I like the 10-point spread on this, even if it's Colt McCoy and my neighbor down the street at wide receiver. I mean, I think they can beat the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey is now that entire team. So, and he did well for me. He won a couple bets. I can't say anything wrong. Sam Darnold won me a bet too. He threw that interception, which we knew he would throw. And then Christian McCaffrey had that, over 30 yards receiving. So thank you, Panthers. But you're not going to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then the other game that I'm taking a look at and I'm flirting with, and we chatted about this pre-show and we disagreed here, was I'm not too hot on Mike White. And I think the Bills minus 13 is pretty much a done deal. I think the Bills are one of the best teams in football. I've said this every week. They're a real complete team. I think the Jets-Bengals game was a trap game situation. The Bengals slept on the Jets. I get that Mike White got hurt last week, and it wasn't an incomplete picture on Thursday Night Football, and they've had a longer amount of time to kind of get the team right and get the team healthy. I just don't think they're good enough at the end of the day. And I'm a Jet fan. I can say it. You're a Jet fan, and you're a lot hotter on the Mike White train than I am. But yeah, I like the Bills minus 13.
Let's start by saying I'm not hot on the Mike White train. If Mike White,
let's cool the Jets there.
If Mike White is the starter past this week, it means that's problems for Zach Wilson. In a perfect world, there's a quarterback controversy because he lights up the Bills. In a real world, the Jets world that we know, they're probably going to get destroyed, and Zach Wilson's going to come back next week and beat Miami, and then the whole thing is going to get flipped on its head. But with that being said, Mike White did have
a killer game.
A killer game, and then he had a killer second drive. The first drive was a punt. Killer second drive, hitting Elijah Moore, who ironically had 2 touchdowns and is coming out of nowhere and is playing great. Jets defense is dog poop. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah.
It's nothing but rookies. And some people are converted safeties playing linebackers at 220 pounds, which it just doesn't work. Once they get the defense figured out, the offense could kind of make up for the defense, which in the beginning of the year, we thought it was the other way around. With that being said, though, my bet of the week is back in full swing because Mike White is now the quarterback again. So we're going to get redemption on that Michael Carter over 4.5 reception bet. And he's going to get it. He's absolutely going to get 4.5. I think that's going to be the line because on Thursday, he had 1 because Josh Johnson was quarterback. If it's at 4.5 over under, you put $100 on it and you thank me later. That's my bet of the week. In addition to the Chiefs spread, that's gonna be my other bet of the week.
I'll take that bet of the week, but my bet of the week is going to be the Bills minus 13.
Let's go. So,
Rich, anything else you want to add? Any picks and plays for the NFL that you want to share before we close this puppy up?
No, just check the Twitter, throughout the week at Odds Honest Truth. On Sunday mornings, I usually put a lot of picks out there. We're going to have additional college picks from Stucast, Alan Studer on Saturday. We're probably going to have a couple NBA picks out there too. We're going to have to see what the Super Boost is from Caesars throughout the week because those are always fun. The Super Boost from last week hit on the final couple plays of the game. It was Justin Fields over 140.5 and a passing touchdown, and it took everything in him to get that passing touchdown, including the refs kind of blowing the game for him. But that's neither here nor there. So, guys, check out Chalkboard. Download in the App Store. Chalkboard.io is the website. Join our community. Join the board because, we have bets on here, but we have 10 times the amount of bets on our board from all these fun people putting the bets, including us. So, again, we're going to have Ted Mose on the show next week, CEO of the lovely Chalkboard app here. But Craig, you got to sign us off because I need to hear that catchphrase.
No, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, check us out on Chalkboard. Check us out on Twitter. And the other thing I wanted to point out was, as you can see on this show, we like to get a lot of voices involved. We like to get a lot of different picks and plays and opinions. If you're sitting at home right now and you're thinking to yourself, I know more than these two jamokers, put your money where your mouth is. Reach out to me on Twitter. Send in a video next week. We'll put you right here on the show, right here on the In the Money Media Network. And then we'll track your bet in Chalkboard. And if you get more right than we do, hats off to you. But let's get people involved. Reach out to us on Twitter. We'd love to get lots of different voices and lots of different opinions. Because at the end of the day, this show is all about making all of you money. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this show this week. Thank you so much to John, Spencer, and Alan for joining us this week. Thank you so much to Rich. Thank you so much to the fine friends over at Chalkboard. And, of course, the In the Money Media Network. Peter Thomas Fornatel, Jonathan Kinchin, Drew Coatney, and everyone else that's a part of the In the Money Media family. Thanks to all of you. This has been a very fun edition of the show. I'm Craig. That was Rich. And until next time, that'll do her. I think I forgot the allegedly.
Yeah.
I'll keep this in.
Next week.